Hi guys, it's Nicole here, the Harmonious Hippy. Today's video is going to be a very chill restorative practice, if you couldn't tell from the mood lighting here. It's been one of those days, you know? We all have them, the sob in the work bathroom kind of a day. So I just decided that this would be a perfect opportunity to connect with you guys, as well as create a nice chill practice that you can come back to whenever you just need a little break, or also when you yourself have had one of those days where you're just feeling a little bit emotionally drained, that kind of thing. So we are going to do a lot of like hip openers and juicy stuff like that. If you are in one of those days where you are feeling very heavy in the emotions, I invite you to let out whatever comes up throughout this practice. Sometimes a very lazy, well, not lazy is the wrong word, scratch that, chill, restorative kind of yin style practice can almost bring up more than something that you would feel would do that from the vigorous motion. So just be gentle with yourself, make sure that you're doing what feels good for you. This is going to be heavily propped today, so make sure that you have all of your props that you need to make yourself feel nice and cozy and supported. I've got 2 blocks with me. You can also use thick books if you don't have any blocks. I've got my usual body pillow folded up that I sit on, and I've also brought a pillow from my bed. So you really want to have a lot of stuff with you. If you're someone who gets cold, you can wear some fuzzy socks maybe, bring a blanket with you. As you know, not the case for me. So I've got my sweater on now, but I'll probably end up losing that at some point. I've also got a lot of candles around me. If you do have candles with you, as always, please make sure that you practice fire safety. Make sure that they're not close enough for you to kick over, or Lord forbid, get your hair or clothing in. If anyone's concerned, these ones here are fake, so don't worry about me. I've also got a cup of chamomile tea here, so just bring anything with you that's really gonna nourish you and make you feel comfortable and good and safe. So otherwise, let's just get rolling here. I don't think you'll need anything else, just all the props you want, basically. Every prop on earth, bring it with you. And let's get ready to relax. Another disclaimer really quickly, this will be a wrist-free practice. I type in my day job, so I've been having a little bit of tenderness in my wrist. So I'm gonna do fully wrist-free in this practice. So if you are someone who usually has a lot of issues and needs a lot of modifications in a standard practice because of wrist issues, this is gonna be a great one for you. I'm gonna fully keep it off the wrist. So we're basically just gonna be rolling around on the floor with blankets and pillows today. I would love to hear your excuses of why you shouldn't do this practice. I mean, come on, you guys. Let's do this. Okay, so just giving you a minute to grab everything that you need, and let's meet back here. Okay guys, so just starting off seated as usual in a cross-legged position on a chair, on your couch, whatever is the most comfortable for you. If you are cross-legged, please ensure that you are propped up on something so you can sit on a block or a bunch of pillows, whatever's gonna let the knees release down below the hip crease. My body pillow is getting a little bit squished from the many times that my bottom has been on it. So I may not be quite at the right angle here, but I'm just the teacher, okay? You guys have to do the actual stuff. So make sure that your hip joints are safe and you're getting that anterior tilt to the pelvis. Ooh, that tea's yummy. And just closing down the eyes, we're gonna bring the hands onto the knees. Today, let's bring the palms face down for grounding. And closing down the eyes, if that feels comfortable for you. If you do feel safer with the eyes open, just having a bit of a dull gaze towards the ground. Growing tall through the crown of the head. And just tuning into your breath, noticing how that feels for you today in this moment. Perhaps you had a hard day, and you're feeling that the breath is not coming very easily right now. Maybe it feels like it's quite short. Not with any judgment or doing anything to change that breath. Just observing where you're at in this moment. let's take a quick scan down through the body, just painting a picture for ourselves of where we're at with our body in this moment as well. So as usual, starting at the top of the head, just slowly scanning down and not spending any particular amount of time in one area or focusing on one body part. Just observing how each piece feels as you scroll down. Noticing any sensations, heaviness, lightness, soreness. And again, no judgment here. Just getting an idea of what your starting point is today. And as we come towards the end of the scan here in the lower half of the body, and we begin to tune back into our breath. Take a moment now to notice if you're clenching your jaw, if your shoulders have shrugged up by your ears. Just take stock of all the tiny little muscles in the face. Are you frowning? Can you release any of those little muscles around the eyes? Perhaps separating the lips slightly to let the jaw just hang heavy. Rolling the shoulders up and back. Just taking a moment to set an intention for yourself for this practice, as this is going to be a very restorative practice. It doesn't need to be anything spectacular or crazy. It could just be to bring some movement into your day. It could be to practice self-care. If you did have a rough day, maybe it's to take some time to sit with yourself, feel compassion for yourself. Maybe it's to try and release something, leave something on the mat here today. Whatever the case may be, just endeavor to remain open and release what comes up, if anything. And we're going to take a couple of cleansing breaths now, so taking a deep breath in through the nose, opening the mouth, sigh that out. Let's really bring the body into this today. So on your inhale, lifting the shoulders up, scrunching up to the ears, pulling up all that stress and tension from the day. And with your exhale, just letting that drop, opening the mouth. We'll do once more. You can even scrunch up the face a little bit here if that feels good to let that go. So lifting up the shoulders, maybe even squeezing the core, bringing everything up, feeling all of that tension that might be left. And opening the mouth. Letting that go. Slowly start to move towards a child's pose. So if you are being careful with the wrists, just ensuring that you're moving slowly today. If you'd like to place something under your knees, I invite you to do so. This is meant to be a very heavily propped restorative practice. So I would love it if you have something under your knees, but also grab a little pillow or something that you can place under the upper body. We're normally trying to sink the heart right down to the ground, but today let's be a little supported. So knees coming out wide, big toes touch, sinking the tailbone back towards the heels. And you can just come down, bringing the body onto your pillow. You can keep your face forward depending on the length of your pillow, but try not to keep the chin up here. So otherwise, just place one ear down. I'll let you know when we're halfway and we can switch sides. So just letting yourself relax over that prop and feel held and supported here. And the breath moves in and out through the nose.
Letting the heart and the tailbone sink down. Melting here. Noticing in this first posture that we've taken, if there's anywhere that you're still gripping, still trying to physically hold on to your day, just send the next breath to that place and just let yourself drop heavy into the pillow. You can let your face squish into the pillow. Held and supported. Again, checking in and gripping in the neck, shoulders. Let it go. Let it go. And if you are on one ear, you can switch sides now. You're placing yourself here and sinking down. Releasing that tension. Tailbone is heavy towards the heels. Heart moving towards the ground through your throat. Relaxing the little muscles in the face. If the mind is wandering or busy, without judgment, just coming back into your breath and back to your center. And slowly starting to move out of that posture. We're going to roll over to sit on our bums now. Again, keeping the pillow close by. We're going to stretch the legs out long as if we were in four-limb staff pose, or sorry, just staffed pose. Four-limb staff is chaturanga. Moving towards that position, we're going to bring the pillow onto our legs here to move into our forward fold. Now, anytime that you are feeling particularly stressed or panicky, a forward fold is really great. Anytime that you're taking that 90-degree bend at the hips, as well as breathing in and out through the nose, these are things that will switch on that parasympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight response. So this is something that's going to automatically have your body feeling like, okay, we can relax now. We don't need to feel that we're panicking or stressing about something. You kind of
lose a little bit of that anxious edge. So this is very, very restorative when you are feeling stressed. Bringing the pillow up nice and close, and you can just start to fold over. I like to try to come down with my back straight for as far as I can. So I tend to protract the chin slightly and stay looking up. Obviously, we're not trying to do an active practice right now, so you can release the toes. They don't have to be flexed right up. You can even bring the heels in a little bit closer and let the feet fall out a little bit naturally. I'm just starting to sink down. There's no time span here. You can take as long as you want, slowly sinking forward. I find with this one, if like me, you have a little bit of a belly, I find that it kind of makes it hard to breathe, especially having the pillow sometimes when I come straight down. So I think of scooping my belly from underneath, almost like I'm bringing it up and over a little bit, just to kind of get it out of the way of my legs for where I'm first bending over at the hips. So whatever makes you feel the most comfortable with that. Once you get to a certain point where it just feels like you want to relax, you can, again, not pulling, we're not trying to get a crazy hamstring stretch, just holding on to kind of anchor yourself. You can hold on to the legs, the feet, wherever feels good for you. And then just starting to sink the forehead down. If you'd like, also, you can fold up your pillow. This one's a little bit too thick for that, so I might try this one. And if you have that folded, then you can start to come down like this. Again, you can be on one ear, you can have the forehead down, whatever feels good for you. Just releasing into that fold. And this is going to release the lower back as well. Wiggling around until you're comfortable here. Noticing any gripping, and let go. Down. Relaxing here. Just a few more breaths. Really sinking into that fold. And slowly coming back up. We're going to grab our blocks now. So moving into a Baddha Konasana, down to angle pose. So bringing the soles of the feet together. And this can be as close or as far away from you as you'd like. Again, we do want to make sure that this stays quite restorative. So not anything where you feel that you need to try really hard to stay there. So what I'm going to use is one block here. You can also use pillows if that's more comfortable for you. Again, as I mentioned, if you are a little gutty like I am, it can be a bit too much to have the pillow pressing into you sometimes. So I like to have space here and just use the pillow to rest my head on. So as we normally would, inhaling up tall and then exhaling, trying to come down, hinging from the hip, straight spine until you hit that point
where you're ready to just drop down. And just bringing the forehead to that block. If you want a second block, if that's more comfortable for you, go ahead and grab that. Just wiggle around, find what feels good here. Arms can be down at the sides, behind you, in front of you. Again, find what's good for you. A little bit more height here. There we go. And then just sinking in. Feeling the hips release down to the sides. And feeling the block pressing into that third eye space in your forehead. That's the space in between your eyebrows. This can feel so relaxing and restorative sometimes, to have a little bit of pressure placed there. And again, if you find that you've settled into the posture and it's just not working for you, feel free to move around and get yourself into the pose where you feel most comfortable. It's all about your comfort today. And just releasing into that, sinking down. Breath moving in and out through the nose. Noticing any gripping or stress. Releasing that now. And again, very slowly starting to come back up. We're going to do a little bit of a side twist now. So if you can get your first block up on the highest height and then your second block at about mid-height here. We're going to grab our pillows and just lay that down on a little diagonal here. And then you want to sit like a little mermaid. That's how I think of it. Come up with the side of your hip right beside your block. And then we're gonna take a quick sip of tea because it's probably cold. Ooh, sure is. And we're gonna inhale up tall. And we're gonna try to move our hands to either side of the pillow here. So you want to slowly start twisting. Again, moving very slowly. You don't wanna be torquing the back here. Inhales grow tall, exhales twist you a little bit farther until you're looking over your pillow with your hands on either side. And then we can start to sink the upper body down over the pillow. If you'd like, your gaze can stay on the side that your knees are twisted to, or for a little bit of added twist in the neck, you can also gaze to the opposite side. Again, I'll let you know, actually that's a lie. I won't let you know when to switch sides because we'll be switching our whole bodies. So ignore me now. Find the side that feels good for you and for your neck, and just relaxing down into that twist. Again, inhales, you can always come up a little taller. Exhale, twist a little deeper if that feels good. Just letting that massage happen in the belly. Just relaxing the upper body down here. Knowing that those blocks can hold you, so you can just let go. Relax. Melting the heart space down through your props into the ground, into the earth. Allowing the spine to just ring out here. And very slowly beginning to come back up. Straight out of the twist first, and then slowly rotating back to the front. Now we're just simply gonna roll over to the other hip so that you're facing the other way. And bring the hip up nice and close. And again, inhale up tall. And exhale, begin to twist your upper body towards the pillow. Inhales create space, and exhales twist you a little deeper. Again, pulling with the strength of the body and not using the neck. And then releasing down over the pillows. Again, you can release the side of the face down to whichever side feels good for you. And just find a place here where you can totally let go and allow the props to hold you. Breathing deeply into the belly here. Letting go of the gripping, letting go of the control, letting your body just sink down where it needs to go. Slowly bringing yourself back up straight and then untwisting. We're going to leave the props as they are for a quick heart opener here. So twisting around so that your back is facing the props, you can bring your bum up closer to the props and just start to release back down onto those blocks. And you may notice that you need to spread them a little bit farther apart. Maybe that middle block is a little too far down in your rib cage. You sort of want it to be ending at the end of your rib cage max. You really don't want this to get too far into your lower back. You want it to be something that's going to peel your chest open. And perhaps once you move into this sort of a position, different from the twisting, maybe this is too much of a height for you. So you can always feel free to take your blocks and lower the height that they're set at. You can also remove the top block if you would like to let your head hang. Again, making sure that that's comfortable for your neck. And as always, if this is a lot on your lower back, you can bring the feet up wide on either side of your mat and let the knees fall in towards each other. You can come to bound angle legs like I have now, bringing the soles of the feet together and letting the knees fall out wide. And let's release the arms out to the side here so it feels like your shoulders are peeling back and open. Stretching across the chest, letting that heart space be open and free. If you find heart openers quite uncomfortable, I invite you to stick with it and see what emotions stir up. If you are just feeling completely unsafe, feel free to come down off of the blocks. You can just come into Shavasana here. You can always roll up a blanket or a towel long along the spine to get the same effect of the heart opener, but a little bit less. And you can even roll over into the fetal position if that's more comfortable. Just find something that works for you. The world won't end if you don't do exactly what the teacher says. I give you full yogic reign here. Just listen to your body, listen to your heart. Just let go. Just checking in with the little muscles around the eyes. Just releasing those and letting the eyeballs sink heavy into the head. Perhaps parting the lips slightly and letting the jaw sink back heavy. Chest opening. Breathing in and out through the nose. Sinking down, knowing that you are supported and held by the earth and the here and now with me. You're safe and we are one. And you're worthy. The knees out wide, you can use the hands to help bring your knees back up together. And very carefully you can roll yourself off to one side. And remove your props, but just keep those close by. We're going to move into pigeon pose now. So if pigeon isn't comfortable for you, you can always take a reclined pigeon on your back. So this is the figure 4 stretch. So when you're laying on your back, just bringing one knee up, crossing the ankle over. You can reach through and pull that up to your chest while laying down, sinking back. Otherwise, if you're okay with being on your front, we can go ahead and move into that. So we're not coming in from downward dog today. So another way that you can do it is to simply just kind of set up your front leg, being safe with the knee. You do ideally want to be parallel with the front of your mat, but like me, I have very sensitive knees, so I actually keep my foot quite far back. That's totally fine. And then we're just gonna rock ourselves up and over. You want to make sure that you're not sitting like this. You want to make sure that your hips are right over your ankle. So you may end up coming up off the ground, and that's totally fine here. If you want to place something under that back knee, you can go ahead and do that. And what I like to do is take a block and place that under my bum cheek of the bent leg. just to find a little support there. Sometimes you might be a little bit closer to the ground than that, which I just noticed I am, so I'm gonna take a pillow instead. Gives me a little space to kind of sink in. And this will just support you so you're not just hanging in the air with that. So you can really release down. Coming down to the forearms if you can. If not, maybe grab a block or two so that you can be on the forearms instead of the wrists today. And just releasing into this. As I mentioned frequently, hip openers can be very, very intense. So you may get that feeling where you just need to come out. If it's pain, obviously do come out straight away. But if it's just that uncomfortable, intense feeling, I invite you to try to stay for at least 2 more deep breaths. Challenging yourself here and noticing what's coming up. If you're feeling anger all of a sudden, you don't need to be afraid of that. We live in a society where we're kind of told that to be angry is childish or inappropriate, and to feel the full range of our emotions isn't something that we should do. But I think it's something that definitely needs to happen. I mean, of course, you don't want to scream someone down in the middle of a store. That's you need to keep your emotions somewhat in check, but in the comfort of your own home, if you're here in this hip opener and you're feeling a little bit of anger or frustration rise up, just let that be, let that happen. Don't try and immediately correct for that. If you do want to cry, cry. If you want to laugh, I mean, you're a better person than I am in a hip opener, but go ahead and do so. So just letting the emotions come. And maybe you feel nothing here and you're like, what is this crazy hippie talking about? That's cool too. Just get a good stretch then. You don't have to feel emotions, but you don't also have to change your emotions if you feel them. You get to do whatever you want. This is your practice, this is your life. You are allowed to be yourself. Whatever that means for you, for anyone else. Sinking in. Breathing through the uncomfortable feeling. If you start to feel quite a lot of sensation in that hip flexor and glute, think of sending your breath there. Visualize that fresh inhale swirling around in that hip joint. Releasing that. Keeping the breath in and out through the nose, breathing deeply. I am about ready to come out here, so what's my rule? Let's stay for 2 more breaths. Deep inhale through the nose. And let's open the mouth, exhale, sigh. Once more, deep inhale through the nose. And exhale, let that go. And now slowly moving out of that pose. Oh, yeah. It hurts so good. And just coming down off of that pillow if you have one. And we can just open our feet a little bit wide here and lean back a little and just windshield wipe. The knees back and forth a little bit, releasing that hip. And we're gonna come into the other side. So again, same thing, trying to bring that shin parallel to the front of your mat, but just keeping in mind the knee safety. So if you would like to sink that foot back a little farther, that's totally fine. And then popping yourself gracefully up so that your hips are in line over that heel. And you can bring your pillow in or block in again. Letting yourself relax into the pose, coming back to that breath in and out through the nose. And maybe this side feels a lot different to the other side. Typically we're not 100% even, especially in the hips. So you may have one side that feels considerably harder or easier than the other. Sending the breath where you need it. Staying with your emotions as they rise up. If it's comfortable, you can sink the upper body down towards the ground. You can reach the arms out in front of you if you'd like. Whatever's the most comfortable. Noticing any gripping. Sending the breath to that space. Ready to come out here, let's take 2 more deep breaths. In through the nose, opening your mouth, sigh that out. And 1 more, deep through the nose. And opening the mouth, release. And slowly moving yourself out of that pose. And we're going to come to roll down onto our backs. So if you have a small pillow that you would like to put under the head, you can go ahead and do that. Just as long as it's not anything too thick. You don't want your head to be, cricked up and weirdly. If you like to cover yourself in a blanket, you can go ahead and do that. You can also bring a big bolster or a pillow underneath your knees in your Shavasana. Ooh. So that will help release the lower back down to the ground and release tension there. And then just letting the arms fall out to the sides, feet fall comfortably open. can lift the head up, tuck the chin slightly, and place that back down to keep the neck long. Putting back on any socks or sweaters. And just coming to relax on your back. As always, if you don't feel comfortable on your back here, you can always take Shavasana on your belly or in the fetal position. Just coming to that place that feels right for you. Tucking the shoulder blades under. Letting that practice settle in the body. Body settle into the earth. And held, supported, and safe. Here and now. Letting go. Just read a little short passage here from Coming Home to Yourself by Osho. I just opened to a random page. Let's see what we needed to hear today. Living playfully. Taking things easily and without forcing. After some time, the rush of thought, outward and inward, subsides naturally, and the true face shows itself. Buko, a Zen master. The Buddha is already breathing in you. Just a little recognition, just a little turning inward. And it has not to be done forcefully. If you do it forcibly, you will miss the point. It is very delicate. You have to look inward playfully, not seriously. Don't take anything seriously. To be a Buddha is not a difficult job. It is the easiest thing in the world because it has already happened without your knowing. reaching the arms up overhead and stretching out long. And very slowly, when you're ready, bring the knees up and rolling either to your right or left side if you have low blood pressure. Coming into the fetal position, resting the head on that bottom arm just for a moment. Having a moment where the spine is straight and long. And when you're ready, slowly helping to push yourself up, coming back into a seated position. And bringing the hands onto the heart, flat against the chest here. Perhaps feeling the beating of the heart under your hands. Bowing the head slightly, taking a moment to honor yourself and your body, and to thank yourself for existing. Sometimes this can feel a little hard. Sometimes it can feel very hard. But just knowing in this moment today that there is at least one person who wants you to be here, who loves you, and who appreciates you. And I am always here for you. Whether we've met or not, we are friends, we are family. Returning for a moment to the intention that you set at the beginning of the practice. And just noticing if you were able to stay present with that. Or maybe you completely forgot about it. Either is fine. As long as you got something out of this practice today. Maybe it brought something up. Maybe you were able to release something. Or at the very least, maybe you just got a little bit of movement in, spent a little bit of time with yourself. Yoga, Samastad, Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today for this restorative practice. I hope that you were able to let something go, get a little bit of relaxation in your day. I know I'm already feeling so much better from the day that I had. So my thanks to all of you for being here with me and holding space for me in this moment. I hope that you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, month, year, and just be gentle with yourself for the rest of the evening. If you've done this practice in the evening, obviously be gentle with yourself for the rest of your life. If you can. It does get hard occasionally, and I understand all too well, but just know that you are always 100% worthy of love, and of care, and of happiness and joy. I appreciate you so much, and I am so happy that you chose to join me today. If you enjoyed this practice, please give this video a like. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, go ahead and do that, and you can hit the bell icon to be notified every time that I post. I will post a new video every Saturday, as well as occasionally during the week if the mood strikes. If you would like to share this video with anyone, please go ahead and comment below and let me know what you thought about the practice. Let me know if you're having a hard time. If you want to just talk to someone, you can always feel free to email me or message me on Instagram. Instagram is Harmonious Hippy, all one word, and I would love to engage with you guys there as well. Also comment just to say hi if you'd like to. I always love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much. Namaste.